Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Chamber of Game here on the Leviathan Network. I'm your host, Eric Watson. I'm the PC section editor for Leviathan.com. And joining me today is another Leviathan writer, our entertainment section writer, Mr. Chris Renner. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Eric. How's it going?
We are diving into Wasteland 2, which is personally one of my most anticipated games of the year and of the last couple years ever since it got out of Kickstarter in 2012. It was one of the original, big Kickstarter games that actually made millions of dollars. So it had a lot of eyeballs paying attention to it over the last couple of years in terms of how is this thing gonna shape out. This is an actual sequel to an old 80s game, which you and I have, we're pretty old now. We're 30. We've grown up with games. I think this kind of predates us.
It does predate us, and I've got this game has a sort of an emotional connection to me because this is my dad who did not play video games. This is one of the few games that when he first bought a PC, I caught him playing.
Nice.
So I think the old Wasteland was a game for adults in 1981 or 82.
It was 88.
88? Okay.
Crazy old,
well,
yeah.
88. I was too young for it at the time.
But it
was a lot of text.
Exactly.
It was a lot of text and.
Yep. Yeah, it was a style where the action took only a quarter of the screen because graphics just were not that good, and it was mostly menus. But apparently it was the writing was solid, and it was the mature world, although it was also kind of very snarky. And it just put a lot of effort and evolution towards just game design, and especially computer RPGs in general.
Right.
And it was from that game that we have the Fallout series, because Brian Fargo and Interplay couldn't get the rights back to Wasteland, but they wanted to make a game like that, so they started the Fallout games. And now that has turned into just the massive franchise.
Own thing. Yeah.
Its own thing, yeah. And then Bethesda took that over and made Fallout 3, which kind of changed it. I still like the later Fallout games, but it really changed it into a first-person style, and that's a lot of people that enjoyed the older Fallout games, the older Baldur's Gate games, and just older RPGs in general. They just don't have a whole lot of options these days, and it is really, really cool that that you can go back and through Kickstarter actually not prey on people's nostalgia, but take advantage of the fact that there's just not a whole lot of these games right now, and this kind of proves that there is an audience for these games.
Absolutely.
It's not huge. A couple $1 million is not that big of a budget for a video game.
But these kind of games, I don't feel like these kind of games need a huge budget, right?
I think so. I think if you prioritize the right things, if you you don't need a whole lot of voice acting, you don't need movies, you don't need cutscenes.
Right.
If you prioritize just the writing and the content and the actual choices, the branching paths, if you prioritize the right things, I think you can definitely stretch it a lot. And we have a nice engine for RPGs now with Unity, which is what Shadowrun used. Another example, yeah, it's what Torment's going to use, what Pillars of Eternity is using. All of these RPG guys coming out are based off this Unity engine, which we will see in a second once I load it up. I've got a bunch of saves from the beta. I haven't been able to dive into it too much now that it's been released, but I figure we can take a look at the character creation.
Yes, which I have not seen. I've seen little clips of this game, but character creation I've seen none of.
Yeah, and this definitely has, this is not a Dungeons & Dragons game. It has its own system.
Right.
Kind of like the Fallout games had their own system. Where it was clearly based on D&D, which everything really is RPG-wise, especially computer RPGs, where you have your attributes and then you have your skills. But I think Wasteland does do its own thing. So you can make 4 people, and you make them yourself completely from scratch. You don't have set characters. You can gain NPCs in the world, kind of like you would in Baldur's Gate or something. But the people you start with are completely of your creation. You can choose. They've got a couple pre-made guys on the side, which all have certain skills put in there. And they say demolition,
nice.
Sniper, bruiser, combat medic. So they have clear roles and clear designations for their skills. Which my first playthrough actually used 4 people just of the of these pre-made characters, because they're actually
negotiator. That's interesting.
Quite good. Yeah, slick. So you've got all the dialogue skills. So let's look in here. We'll create a custom ranger. Thank you. All right, so here's what we're looking at. Now, this screen is actually pretty similar to the old Fallout games, with just a huge blast of all the skills, all the attributes, and what all these attributes will actually do to your stats.
Which I can imagine to be kind of daunting to the uninitiated these type of games. This is this is a lot of information on one screen.
And I feel like because it's a Kickstarter game and because it's a CRPG especially, this is a game for people that like these games.
Right.
This is probably not an entry level, which I don't even know what is an entry level like CRPG. I feel like you either like this game or you don't. And I wouldn't begrudge you if this is not your thing, although if you're watching this video, I'm assuming it's your thing. This is very much in my wheelhouse. I consider Fallout 1 and 2 some of my favorite games of all time. I am just now finishing up Divinity Original Sin, which has been absolutely amazing. Another Kickstarter turn-based RPG style. This has been an incredible year. Now that we're a couple years removed from that original run of $1 million Kickstarters, we're getting to where those games have actually started coming out, and man, it's getting pretty nice. So okay, we've got
reaping the harvest.
Yes, exactly. It's been a long time coming. So you've got your skills, slightly different than Fallout skills. We've got coordination, luck, awareness, strength, speed, intelligence, and charisma. Now you can probably derive what some of these would mean. Coordination helps you hit things. Luck is your crit chance. Awareness, you can spot traps and hidden piles of treasure. Strength is your melee moves. Speed helps you get more action points in combat because it's all that turn-based combat system.
Right.
Intelligence, I think that one's just like Fallout, where it gives you more skill points per level.
Right.
And then charisma, also like Fallout, I believe, helps you
interact,
negotiate with people. Yeah, do various quests and dialogues. And this one actually has a leadership system, which Divinity actually uses a very similar one, where a character can have a high leadership and it buffs the rest of your party, which is cool.
Okay, very nice.
Interestingly, a 3 is considered average.
Wow. Okay.
So I guess by the time you get to
7
or
10, you're godly.
So what happens if you take so you can do poor. Okay, it's like every other one changes. So you go average. Okay, 3 and 4 is average, and 5. Okay. But you can see it takes more to up some of these stats.
Right.
Which I believe D&D uses that same system. If you try and raise one all the way to 18, it's going to cost you more than it would just to do that. It costs you more points. You have 7 points to allocate between all of these. And you have a ton of skills, which you gain skill points every level, and you put different points into these skills. They do separate them into kind of general skills, weapon skills, and knowledge skills. So weapon skills, unlike Fallout, where it was just small guns, big guns, this one is handguns, heavy guns, shotguns, snipers, Uzis.
Wow.
You kind of want to specialize. I mean, 3 different melee options: bladed, blunt weapons, and brawling.
It
gets pretty insane. I found it's very useful to do 2 on each character, and that way
they've got some options.
You can, and you exactly like the early Fallout games, you can switch between 2 active weapons in combat. So if you run out of ammo for one, you can switch to another one. Or if you want to use a shotgun and a sniper rifle, depending on what the situation uses, you can do that as well.
Right.
And then knowledge skills, which are used to solve a lot of quests and can just be useful in the world, like safe cracking, surgeon, lockpicking. Pretty obvious stuff.
Toaster repair?
Toaster repair is a little less obvious. So that is a callback from the original Wasteland. It's kind of a jokey skill. And they incorporated it into this one in that the best treasure chests are toasters.
Nice. All right.
So you'll find a toaster, and if your guy has toaster repair, then you can open it up.
Very
and I presume there's probably a quest or 2 to do with that as well. The nice thing is, which they didn't have this in the beta, if you hover over each one, it'll tell you exactly what it means for each one. So toaster repair at level 2 gives you a 75% chance to open a level 1
that's
toaster.
very nice. Okay.
So you can kind of get an idea of how useful it is to actually get each.
Level 5s.
You can't even try, Good luck with that. Which means there's also quite a few different levels of.
Oh wow, they go up to 10.
Go up to level 10,
Nice.
So even if you max it out, you have a 60% chance to open a level 10.
Jeez.
Yeah. So a lot of these, obviously lockpicking and safe cracking, usually just getting into, chests and doors, but sometimes it can be used to open up additional quests. Different, you'll need to repair somebody's well, so you'll need a certain amount of repair skill to be able to do that one. And then general skills are just kind of other. Barter, I think every RPG has that.
Right.
Basically lowers the price of items. You've got 3 dialogue skills: hard ass, kiss ass, and smart ass. And they basically are different skills you can use in different situations to talk to people, and they'll open up additional like dialogue options.
Oh, okay, so it's kind of like in the BioWare games, like you can only say this if you're have a high level of that.
Correct.
Okay.
So it is useful to be able to have at least 1 or 2 of those, and you can spread those out to different. Luckily, what's really nice is when you're talking in combat, you can switch between whoever's talking on the fly.
Very nice.
So if you find you're talking to somebody and you're like, oh, there's a hard ass option, but it won't let me click it because my guy doesn't have hard ass. Let me switch to my other one that does. Which hard ass is basically being a jerk, kiss ass is being a nice guy, and smart ass is being just a total snarky, sarcastic guy.
Sounds like 2 of those would rarely work, but okay.
Yeah, it depends. And a lot of these are holdovers from those kind of games. Like Outdoorsman helps you lower the chance of encounters on the world map when you're traveling. Perception will look for traps and chests and things. Weaponsmithing, there's a mod system where you can get like an assault rifle and attach like a scope to it. So you'll find like a mod, and that takes that kind of skill.
Okay.
Animal Whisperer in combat lets you basically like fear animals out of combat. Like you can just, I don't know what you do, you like scream at them and they run away. Or you can charm like neutral animals to like follow you around, which don't do that with the goats in the game because fucking goats never leave. And
follow you forever.
they just bleat and it's a huffle. So you can kind of make, let's see, what kind of character should we make just for
fun.
I can show you the next screen.
Let's make
somebody that would fit in the world of a post-apocalyptic 80s wasteland.
Let's make Jack Bauer. He's always a fun one to
All right, Jack Bauer.
Jack Bauer from 24.
So I've not seen a single episode of 24.
Okay.
You have to help me with this. I'm guessing charisma because he can. From an intimidating point of view.
I would say, from an intimidating point of view, yes. He's good at that. I would say high coordination, high awareness. Probably average strength and speed. Slightly
it sounds
higher.
like you're looking at like an X-Men card that had all like the stats, and then you're just reading. He's got like an 8 in this. Like that's always reminded me about putting these points in.
Yep.
Give him a little bit of luck and maybe some intelligence. All right, so he's kind of average, a little above average in a few abilities. He's probably going to be hard ass.
Almost certainly, yeah. Probably got no kiss ass in him at all. Well, they start at 0, so it doesn't. Yeah.
So each one of these takes 2 points to put in. So you don't get a whole lot of options in this very beginning.
Gotcha.
Guessing he's somewhat perceptive.
Yeah.
Guns, handguns.
Handguns, sure. Yeah, almost. Yeah, a lot of handguns. Let's see, what else?
Can he crack open, or does he know demolitions? Can he defuse bombs? Can he kill people?
Probably alarms and demolitions he'd probably be good at.
There you go. That's the starting skills.
All right.
And you'll gain, it'll say, there we go, right here, skill points per level is 3, and that's kind of based on your intelligence level.
Okay.
So you would get 3 points.
You don't start out with a whole lot. You start out kind of...
You don't start out with a whole lot, but as you level, and you do level quite a bit, actually.
Yeah.
But it does take, like, 2... And then, if you notice, you probably don't know if you can tell when I hover over, but it takes 2 up until the 3rd rank, and then the 4th rank takes, or maybe it's the 5th rank. One of them takes more points. Okay, between here it takes 6 and 10. Okay. So it does start taking way more skill points. Between here it takes 14 and 20.
Wow.
Yeah, and then it starts taking like 6 per level.
Does it ever behoove you to save points to like not spend them when you level?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely do that too. Yeah, if you just can't have any good options, or especially if you end up with an odd number because it takes 2 for each one.
Right.
Then yeah, you end up saving the points. All right, so the next screen lets us look at kind of the final customization. You actually get to look at a little 3D model of your character, which we are a male, so let's switch to that. And you can kind of flip him around.
Okay.
And you can change.
He's got there.
Spare no expense on the crotch plate.
Prominent crotch plate.
So you can mess around a little bit with his settings. We can give him some hair. Oh man, I love the cowboy hat.
That's pretty good.
Look at all these hats he's got. Jeez.
Yeah.
It's not the best system because there's no drop-down menu or any kind of thing like. It's just literally scrolling through. Yeah, that's an inordinate amount of hats. Oh my gosh, so many fantastic hat options.
Yes.
Dear Lord. I guess we're gonna go with scruffy haired. Okay, wait, that one was semi-normal
that
right
one was
there.
good, yeah.
There we go.
Sort of.
Okay, and head just kind of chases.
Oh boy.
Geez. He gains goggles and facial hair. All right, there we go.
There you go.
That one looks. He's just super frowny.
Yeah.
So torso, you can actually change kind of his entire look because I believe armor does not show up.
Okay.
I don't think on the character, so I think you can just kind of you can wear any, and they have actually like a ton of kind of bizarro choices. The world is even more a little bit bizarro than Fallout, and Fallout's world is already kind of bizarre. That actually kind of fits.
Yeah.
Does he ever wear
Yeah.
James Bond type thing? Okay.
He's very minimal. Either like the, button-down shirt in the office or t-shirt out in the field.
Yeah. That's like a Tomb Raider pants, but
A little bit.
for the purposes of this, we're like chaps. Some of these are like, whoa, there we go.
Holy shit. I'm all kinds of uncomfortable right now.
There's a matching top that goes with that as well. You should be. All right, there we go. Oh, we're looking correctly. Packs, you can change his little backpack back here.
Okay, nice.
For whatever reason, if you want him to have a giant thing. Size. Okay, sky actually lets you change a little bit of the background, yeah.
Okay.
Purple sky. And so you can take a snapshot of the character, which literally will just save him as your picture. But what I like to do, they kind of used both options, and this is a big thing. I loved in Neverwinter Nights 1 where they had portraits you could use. And then in Neverwinter Nights, just the 2D portraits. And then Neverwinter Nights 2, they added it to where you had to use the little 3D just picture of your guy, which was always dumb looking. This one you can do both. You can either take a snapshot or you can go through a bunch of just portraits.
Okay.
And you can just stick them in a certain folder, download them off the internet, make sure they're like a certain size, and then you can use whatever portrait they've got.
Okay.
And they've got some really. I've downloaded a bunch of them.
I saw you posted a Twitter thing with just a whole gallery of them.
Yeah, none of these are gonna look like
Jack Bauer.
Jack
you should
Bauer.
just get a picture
though.
of Jack Bauer.
Yeah, exactly. You could absolutely do that. We'll go with this guy.
There you go. What was interesting about that gallery that you posted was that there were a lot of live action ones. I was like, that's an interesting idea.
You could just kind of go with whatever style you wanted to. Really,
Right.
you could do more comic booky. You could do just like real shots of people. I've seen a lot of people using those. You can do just like pictures of the Ninja Turtles if you wanted to. And you could,
Yeah.
and Legend of Grimrock did that as well. You could use your own custom
I
portraits.
played with that one a lot.
Yes.
I find like, in Neverwinter Nights and in Legend of Grimrock, I found myself spending an inordinate amount of time.
It's
like downloading pictures and cropping them and sizing them correctly. Yeah.
It's fun. I think this really calls back to that. This does a really fun job at the character creation. You can choose religion, which they have actually a drop-down menu.
Oh boy, okay.
Yeah. So all the major religions, kind of like if you played Civ 5, they're pretty much all there, I think.
Indigenous.
Yeah. You can do what brand of smokes.
Okay. Do they get like a health bonus for not smoking?
These are all in games. I have no idea what this has any effect on the game world, but I know that these smokes do exist in the game world.
If Jack Bauer smokes, he smokes coffin nails.
He smokes coffin nails. Of course he does. And then your ethnicity.
Okay.
Which also is a drop-down menu.
That doesn't change anything visually, though, right?
He's back. I believe it does not. I think it's just all flavor stuff. How do you spell his name? I'm going to spell it like that.
B-A-U-E-R. It's spelled like a dog.
B-A-U? Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Jack Bauer, and he's probably like 40.
Yeah, sure.
Alright, there's our man, Jack Bauer. So you would create all your dudes just like that.
Very nice. Okay.
And you would want this... You could try to create a team of, a balanced party, but it's going to be, you're going to have to level up a few times before you can get some more real skills that you'll
so
need.
in the beginning, there's not much of a... You can't really, see ahead of time, you're going to be all sniper, and because as you level up, then you get the opportunity to put the points in.
Right, yeah. So at the very beginning, you're not so much... And it's more freeing, though, because you're not, choosing a class. You're not you're my fighter, you're my cleric, you're my rogue.
Because a lot of those times in these games, you find out 5 hours in it, this skill is not up your alley.
Yeah. And it really lets you just evolve, who you want to do. You're like, I found a really great, rocket launcher. I'm going to start putting points into heavy weapons for this guy, and you're going to be my heavy weapons guy.
Or, I hate the way the explosive mechanic works in this game. I'm not going to do that.
Exactly, yeah. I'm not going to ever put any more points into that. Exactly. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to jump back out. We're going to say bye to Jack. Sorry, Jack.
Goodbye, Jack.
And I'm going to load 2 different saves. One, so you can just see kind of walking around, talking stuff. And the other one, we can see actual combat. So we're going to load up the Ranger Citadel, which this is my beta save, so that's the caveat here. But everything, the game we're playing now has been updated, obviously, to the final build.
Okay. How far into the game is this?
This is probably between 10 and 15 hours somewhere.
Okay.
I forget.
Wow, not bad.
What's interesting is the very first base for the you play as the Desert Rangers, so you're like the good guy police of the Wasteland.
Gotcha.
You're like the last infrastructure of a semblance of a good government, and you're not even really trying to be a government. You're just trying to help people out, but as a system.
Okay. So I see more than 4 people here. You are those other 2 NPCs?
Yes.
Or not NPCs, but people you just pick up on the way?
Yes,
And
they are.
goats.
So we've got fucking goats, dude. You can't get rid of them. You literally cannot get rid of them.
Can they not die in combat or something?
They can, but they never get targeted.
Oh.
And I killed one time, and the woman who charmed the goat was like, "How dare you?" Well, oh no.
I loved that goat.
I love that goat. So these are my 4 people. These are all pre-made characters you can choose from. We've got Bear is my leader of the party. She is assault weapons, heavy weapons, and she's my charismatic talker and outdoorsman, kind of just all around good leader. Cold Eye is my sniper. He has basically no skills but sniping. I think he can repair also, and maybe weapon crafting, but he is a amazing sniper.
Okay.
Sniping in this game is amazing.
Yeah.
You put points in that, he will kill someone every round.
Very nice.
We can look at more of that in the combat. Slick is my other talker, and he's a close range guy. He's got a pickaxe and a shotgun.
Okay.
So when no negotiations break down, he knows how to work it.
Gee, that melee combat would be gruesome.
Yes, it would be.
Skulls.
They use it. It's funny. They reminds me a lot of the Fallout ones where they had the big super mutants that had all the kind of makeshift weapons, and you could kind of make weapons out of things. That's what this is. You'll find signposts or swords and all this kind of random. Fade is my kind of rogue character. He's lockpicking, safe cracking, alarms, computer science, just a whole bunch of general skills.
Okay.
As well as an Uzi.
Nice.
And then at the very beginning of the game, you get access to Angela Death, who is one of the characters from the first Wasteland.
Ah.
And so they actually do. This is a Wasteland 2. They actually do make reference. One of the heroes from the first game is the leader of the Desert Rangers now. And the inciting incident at the beginning of this game is a death of another one of the main Rangers from the first game.
Nice.
And then so she is mourning that character's death, and she wants to join your party because your inciting incident is to investigate the death of that Ranger. And she starts off super high level. I don't know if that's changed since the beta, but she's super powerful, and she just joins you for free. So you pretty much right off the bat get a 5th member.
All right.
And she's just kind of generically good. She's assault weapons, and she carries a giant wrench that she beats people with. And then one of the first big story missions you do is a choice. 2 places are under attack, and you can only go to one of them. And I believe both of them, when you complete them, offer you an NPC. And the one I got gave me Vulture's Cry.
Very nice.
It was this Native American woman that I had to rescue, and she is also a sniper. Which, unfortunately, her skills overlap a lot with my guys already, so...
Right.
But, free character.
Yeah.
You can have up to 7, I believe, which is a huge party.
Wow, that is big.
Yeah, usually...
Yeah, so there's one more slot for a picture right there.
Yes, yeah, and that's a lot of people. So right now we are in the Rangers Citadel. You can see I can zoom all the way out pretty damn far.
That's pretty cool.
And I can zoom
get a more tactical view of the...
that close, yeah. And I can freely... Oops. There we go. I can freely rotate the camera all the way around.
Wow.
Which is not something a lot of these kind of games let you
do.
Even Divinity
normally have very fixed views.
Yes, because they don't want to have to do every single angle like that. They don't
right,
have to
they have to
compensate
render
for
every
that.
wall and every...
Right, and part of that is the graphics aren't as good as Divinity's. The engine's not as slick and all that, but being able to do just rotate constantly like that is pretty nice.
It is, yeah.
You can have everybody together in a group, or you can click this one button and then individually move people however you want.
Okay.
So you can separate your whole party. Useful, like before combat begins, you can separate people, and then immediately I can hit this grouped character again, and it automatically highlights everybody instead of having to like draw a box over everybody or something. And then as soon as I right click, everybody's together again. Exactly. You can see. Let's see, what else can I show you? Inventory. Oh, no, I guess we were looking at that already, weren't we, with the characters?
How does equipping stuff work? Like, okay, so that's.
So you can see they can wear one armor slot. You can have a trinket on you. You can wear clothes, but I think it just changes the actual outfit. And then you can equip 2 different weapons.
Okay.
And then instead of having a whole bunch of menus open, you just have tabs. So you can look at your attributes here. You can look at your
so it's all the same
skills.
screen. You just click through. Okay.
Yeah, it's all on the same screen, which I kind of really like that.
Me too. Yeah.
And then your inventory is like always stays right there, but you can see, and your skills, it has your learned skills at the top, so you automatically get to see which skills you've already got, rather than having to like pick them apart from the giant list.
Okay.
So it puts them all up there, which is pretty nice. So obviously that'll switch depending on the character that I switch to.
On your inventory, am I seeing filters along the top? Is that what those are?
Yes. Yeah. So I can say, okay, let me just show me my guns or my weapons, or just show me the armor, just show me my different kinds of ammo. Just to make it that much easier to look at everything.
Right.
Yeah, they did a lot of nice, like, modern UI stuff. And the UI has gone over a lot of changes over the beta. That was probably one of the biggest things that's been updated.
Okay. And are you limited to that one screen in terms of your inventory?
You are, I believe. It is a scroll. I think it can scroll if it needs to.
Oh, okay.
But you're limited in terms of in weight, really.
Oh, weight.
Depending on your strength.
Screen size. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, it is based on your strength, so you don't have to play like inventory Tetris as much as you did with like Baldur's Gate in those games. That's definitely something developers have learned.
Deus Ex was my least favorite in that regard.
Oh,
there was a lot of inventory Tetris that went on with that game.
You just can never get, especially when it's just never big enough. You're just like, come on. And even when buying and selling stuff, which we'll show that in a second, you can switch between characters as well as needed, which is really nice.
Great.
So this is our UI. You can see I can switch between my character tabs, which changes all their quick skills at the bottom.
Okay.
And you can make those whatever you want. So I can have her like field medic skill and perception and surgeon. This guy pretty much only has repair, so he doesn't really do much more, whereas this guy has a ton because he has a bunch of those skills. Like safe cracking, lock picking, a shovel for digging things.
Yeah. It seems like there's a huge focus in this game on like the RPG elements, like role-playing these characters.
This is very much a game made for people that wanted that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like that wanted like a writing. I mean, it's got good writing, it's got a good story, but really gets into the technical RPG aspect too. I mean, just look at the screen. Look at all these little numbers here.
Yep.
So this shows your current weapon. You've got your damage, your ammo, however much you've got in your clip, and your total ammo, armor penetration on the weapon, your critical hit chance, and the current shots fired.
Okay.
And you can switch. Let's see, what are the main ones you can do? You can switch your firing mode on certain weapons. So this assault rifle can switch from a single shot to triple shot, and that'll actually take more action points as well.
Okay.
You can see it has the number of action points it'll take right there. It's got a reload button, and you can hit this button to swap your guns, which your dude will.
That is a crazy looking gun. That was like some World War II
heavy weapon. That is a heavy machine gun, basically, that she walks around with, and that's at ×5, so that's automatically bursts 5 bullets every shot.
Wow.
Which there is friendly fire. You don't want to be doing that in a crowd of your own dudes.
Is that bottom number the accuracy? Because that one was terrible.
No, the bottom is the critical hit chance.
Okay.
Yeah. Accuracy is all determined based on everything that's happening in combat. So based on if your guy's in cover, how close you are to them, the percentage will pop up.
Okay.
It's a lot like XCOM if you're used to that. Like you'll see that percentage is totally dynamic. But it does have to do with their skill, of course, as well. You can also crouch, which helps you kind of get into cover when you're not in cover, and then headshot is something they recently added as a way to do, like, it takes more attack.
Hit chance,
to do it, but you get 200% damage increase.
Okay.
I was going to show, let's see, how do we do world map? Just hit M. Okay, so this opens the logbook, which is not the most attractive thing, but it kind of gets the job done. This keeps track of all your quests. where you get to detail it on the side. This both like collection quests as well as main quests, and then it has a map of the current zone you're in.
Okay.
On the left side. And then you can click another button, which takes you to the world map.
Is there any sort of waypoints in terms of these quests, or is it just sort of free?
No. I think you can maybe make your own waypoints, but I don't think they give you any like exclamation point style, like go here.
Right. Yeah.
This right here is Arizona, and this is, I think, about half the game, which I haven't even explored this whole map, obviously. I've just explored kind of a chunk of it
right along
here.
The border, it looks like.
Yeah, this is kind of the main beginning of the game area. And then we can show a little bit of, let's see who I can talk to. Dialogue system. So their little things will pop up also.
Okay.
Alright, so here's what dialogue looks like, and it does. I love this little dot matrix printer style because the whole game is supposed to be, Fallout is supposed to be apocalypse in the 50s, but it takes place like 100 years later. This one is apocalypse in the 80s.
Oh, really?
So it has all the 80s jokes. Yeah, it's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy, where it's like a lot of 80s humor.
Right, like time stopped in the 80s, like the
yeah,
the
exactly.
Advanced.
But it's like after the fact, so nobody knows about all these like things that we think of stupid at the 80s. Everybody's like, oh, Michael Jackson must have been a god figure before the world ended, all this stuff. So you can see here, it opens up a whole little window, and it actually tells you what your skill is for each of the dialogue skills: smartass, hardass, and kissass.
Oh, okay.
And you can easily just switch to people, whoever you want to be able to talk. And then you can talk to people. Heal me, please, Doc.
You know what I would like to do? This just popped in my head. I'd like to make a character that's all the characters from Lost. Like what was the main guy's name?
Jack.
Like somebody just really high leadership, maybe medical,
yeah,
but not really like fighting or anything.
Yeah.
A lot guy who's like super survivalist.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's a good one. I think I love RPGs where you just get all these cool like character creation ideas in your head too, especially ones that let you build a party. Alright, this is what the trade screen looks like. And again, pretty much exactly like the inventory. You can easily switch between people. You can switch between tabs. It works like Fallout, where you don't have to worry about money. Like, you just automatically have this scrap system that just gets converted to money. And if you don't have enough, you just trade like goods to each other. Like, I can trade ammo for his, health items.
Okay.
So everything has a value to it. So that part's pretty much exactly like the Fallout games. Goodbye. Yeah, so Ranger Citadel, this is the first area. This is not the first area. This is the first big kind of friendly town, and you don't even get access to it until after you do the first major quest. So they actually kind of gate that a little bit. Okay,
right. So is the game relatively like free roaming, or are they kind of put you on a path?
It is very free roaming. Like they'll say you need to go here next to do the main quest, and then you can just kind of go wherever you want.
Okay.
In general, especially in the early game, you probably want to go ahead and go along with like most RPGs, they kind of do help you along.
Or you're gonna find yourself somewhere you don't want to be.
Yeah. So here's an interesting thing. You actually have a text box, and I can actually type.
What?
My things.
That's
see if it's letting me
weird, actually.
Yeah, so I can type team and hit enter, and it'll say your team doesn't look like the others. So I can't. What I do is I can type phrases, like a text parser game.
Right.
And it's got the buttons down here, so I couldn't not do it. But there are hidden things you could type that they've included in there. So if somebody, like one of the original Ranger guys, you're talking to him and you mention things from the first game, he will talk about them, even though they're not buttons on the bottom.
Wow. So if there's just things you know about that aren't.
If you have knowledge, and you start trying to ask him about things, then he'll have some kind of dialogue.
That is actually really fascinating and something I have not seen in an RPG in a long time.
Yes, and they specifically wanted to add that in there.
That's like of that 80s era where you could type things in.
Yes. Yeah. That kind of 80s, like super early 90s, before you had like mouse text, just clicking things.
Most RPGs are so gated in terms of what you can say or what you can talk about.
Yes. Yeah, and a lot of it's not like, you'll find hidden quests or anything. It's just kind of some nice little background information and whatnot.
Right.
All right, so now I would like to load up and show combat.
Combat.
Combat. I think I'm gonna load up. Let's go ahead and probably load up this one. Combat is a big part of these games, and this is very much, you know, if you like your old school CRPGs, if you like your turn-based, you like your action points, this game does all of that very, very well. And I really enjoy that system. I know some people might not. If you prefer like a Baldur's Gate real-time with pause, this might seem irksome, but I really enjoy the way this one does. And Pillars of Eternity is going to be doing the real-time with pause, so we'll be seeing another version. It'll be interesting to compare, because games like Shadowrun, Divinity, and this one have all done turn-based, and they've all been pretty great.
Yeah.
Just moving along. I've got multiple paths to do it. I'm in. This is about a little less than 20 hours into the game.
Okay.
So I've leveled up quite a bit. I still have the goats.
The goats are still there.
They'll never die.
They aren't even like pack goats either, are they? Like they don't even serve a purpose.
They're just like goats I saw on a farm. Alright, so I'm going to try to split my guys up a little bit. Let's try and grab you, you, and you. And we're going to try and go up here. So I'm actually doing... setting all my guys up in like good positions to start. So I've got my snipers crouched back here. I've got my short-range guys over here. He just spotted me.
Oh boy!
But now I'm all split up and ready to like tackle him.
Yeah.
And then it has this initiative bar in the front, so you can see the order in which guys will go. So you don't have to guess about that, which is nice.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna roll with right. And you can see automatically it tells you. It kind of borrows from XCOM. The blue area tells you can move this far and still fire your currently equipped weapon. And then the yellow area says you can just move this far in general and then not be able to do anything else.
Okay, gotcha.
Which is kind of the XCOM system, but you do have individual action points. So if you don't move, you can, you know, it takes 4 action points for her to fire this M14, and she has 10 total.
Oh wow!
So if she moved 2 spaces, she could still fire it twice.
Right.
But I need to put her in cover, so it does have an XCOM style Overwatch mode called Ambush.
Where if they see them, they can fire, or they will fire?
Yes, but you have to have enough action points, which I do. You have to have enough action points to be able to shoot once. So I'm going to go ahead and put her in ambush mode. Sniper, ooh, a 50% chance. Just try.
Wow. But it was one of your guys is in between.
It's alright, he's a sniper.
Okay.
Yeah, he missed him.
He's really good.
So you can see the lower right corner, we've got the same little printer thing. And it, very much like Fallout and Baldur's Gate and all those, it writes out what's happening like as it happens, which is amazing because some of these are very cool.
Some DM like telling you how the fight's going.
Cold Eye's aim is off and the shot misses a rail thief gunner.
Very nice.
25%. That's not good. Let's move you here. Oops. Executing ambush. Ah, she missed. All these guys have giant swords. Whatever the sword thing is. Alright, this guy cannot move very far and still fire his weapon. And I think... oh, that's right, I used your pipe bomb last time. Curses! That'd be a good use of the pipe bomb right there. Alright, everybody's just gonna have to move up. Fortunately, these guys are crowding. I've got this NPC that is following me around. I can't control him, but he's kind of on my team. Not sure what his deal is. We're just going to move everybody up into position.
Does he do anything during these fights, or is he just kind of...
yeah, he's got a pistol. He runs up and shoots people. You can't talk to him either. He's just like a weird, like, joke character, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
The seventh
kid get himself killed?
I assume so. He hasn't yet. He's got luck on his side, I guess.
All right.
And then I picked up this kid. I had to save him from one quest and then basically convince his parents to let him come with us.
Oh boy.
And he's just kind of shitty. Like, he didn't have a whole lot of skills, but
Right.
he's a new character, so. Come and get it, candy ass. 81%, that's what I like to see. Oh, how he's bleeding.
Nice.
We can shoot him one more time. Let's see if we can take him out. Not quite. Okay. And turn. Sniper! 87% chance from that distance. That's what I like to see.
That's pretty good.
It's like a full screen distance.
With guys in between him and...
And he just nuked him. Yep.
Which I'm gathering that like positioning of your teammates doesn't actually matter in terms of like crossfire and anything like that.
Oh, it does.
Oh, it does. Okay.
Yeah, if they miss, they have a chance to hit. But he had an 87% chance to hit that guy, so
okay.
That means he probably didn't have a chance to miss.
Because that was like two of your teammates.
Yeah, we're like right next. Yeah, he's just that good of a sniper.
That good.
Now she can't see him at all because that is like straight up line of sight blockage.
Right.
So she can't even take a shot. But ambush mode, boom!
Wow. Okay. Does that guy have like a paddleboard? What is he?
Yeah, it's like a giant. He's like that giant sign. It's like a road sign converted into a sword. And this guy has an.
And he just swung at one guy and then immediately turned.
And then turn around
to someone else.
Oh, weapon jam!
Oh no,
that's terrible bad luck. So there's a chance. It's basically like a critical failure.
Yeah.
Where your gun has a chance to jam, and then you have to spend the next turn unjamming it, which is awful. All right, maybe you'll get it done. 20. I love. I mean, there's blood spray. They have the epic like death ones too, where you can get a critical hit and like blow a guy's legs off, and he'll just like crawl for a second and then die.
Wow.
Shit gets pretty violent. Here we can see this is what a shotgun looks like. You actually get this cone kind of blast, and it will actually shoot everybody within the cone.
Okay, that's yeah. So you could hit
not
your
great
buddy there
in this scenario. Yeah, yeah. And I've got my own cleaver. Yeah, it's called makeshift cleaver. 58% chance. He's right in front of me. So obviously, that guy is wearing some armor, and my guy does not have a very good skill.
Yeah.
Yep, he missed. Ralphie. Let's see if you crowbar. 53. Okay, this guy does have good armor. 55. Wow.
Jeez.
What do you think, pistol or crowbar?
What's the chances of it? They're both the same?
They're both about 50%. Yeah.
Jeez. All right, I try to pistol him.
Oh,
Bam!
lost a leg. Starts
that
squirting.
looked like execution style too.
It was. He just pointed that gun.
That was brutal looking.
Good job, Ralphie. You get to move up.
Is that the kid?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
There's no like kid model, but
Okay.
he's supposed to be like a teenager or something.
Yeah, okay.
What was the
I like how everybody holds their pistols like one arm just straight out. Like they're fucking mafioso or something.
There we go. Ralphie strikes a rail thief cutter, inflicting 10 points of damage, dropping him like a stone.
That's right.
I love those. Can you hit him? Sight blocked. If you move here, can you hit him? Yes. 30% chance. That's not good.
How is ammo in this game? Do you find yourself running out a lot, or?
Having two snipers now is the worst because sniper ammo is how they balance it. Like it's way more expensive and way more rare.
Okay.
And that's one thing I would suggest if I was writing a tips thing would be definitely make all your guys use different guns, because that way you're not churning through the same kind of ammo.
And shotguns, you're gonna run out of shells real fast.
Exactly. Yeah. If everybody's using assault weapons, you're never gonna have that ammo.
Gotcha.
I only have one guy that uses a shotgun, for example, and he only uses it some of the time, so I have like a ton of shotgun shells because of that.
And is there one type of ammo per type of gun?
Generally, yeah, like shotgun shells, pistols, I think only have one or two ammo types.
Okay.
I think assault weapons might have two, actually, 7.62 and 5.56, although one of those, 5.56 might be more heavy weaponry. It is very recognizable if you've played Fallout. I'll say that in terms
Okay.
of the ammo to weapon types.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is a thing. And a lot of my money in the early game was spent buying ammo, like
Really?
which felt cool. It was like, I gotta like sell all this junk just to buy like a few more bullets to kill
Yep.
things.
Yeah.
And this red circle you can see is what your weapon's range is. So even if I have the action points, I still can't hit, because it's an Uzi, he can't just hit anybody that's farther than this.
Okay.
Because an Uzi is kind of like very much a spray multiple bullets in front of you kind of a thing.
Right.
Whereas assault rifle has a much bigger circle, and then sniper I think has just the biggest. I'm gonna try to walk you right there with a 64% chance. Get it done. Nope. Oh, get the ambush shot off though.
Yeah.
I forgot there's a dude there. And a lot of the battles you can see are kind of made up of these like tactical maps where they have a lot of different cover.
They look like paintball
There'll be
maps.
some that, yeah, exactly like paintball maps. They'll have some with elevation you can get up there, and they have some interesting scenarios. Other ones you're just in the middle of like an area and there's monsters that'll attack you. Like there's giant lizards,
Oh, okay.
and there's robots, and there's just different crap you have to deal with. So it's not always you just taking pot shots with other guys.
Right.
Just run up right next to this dude. 78.
That ain't bad.
Smack him for 9. Ralphie. 11%. That guy's in some good damn cover. Alright, let's twirl this map around a little bit. Fire everything. Oh. Luckily, a pistol takes 2 action points to fire, versus a sniper rifle, which has usually 7 or 8.
Oh, okay.
So that's another way they balance all
Yeah.
the guns. Golly, he is just putting guys down.
He is. He is executing.
That's why I'm being like just super aggressive with him. Ambush. Sniper, you can't see him at all. If I move you one more over. 50%. Get it done, sniper! Ah! I'm having bad luck with them. Usually they just drop people left and right.
Did he miss, or did he just not do much damage?
Yeah, he missed,
He
yeah.
missed.
Yep. Try and spread it around. And some of these fights, man, have like a dozen people.
Wow.
And it gets pretty crazy. 64%. Do it. There we go.
Yeah.
And then it'll say, combat
Put
is
him down.
ended.
It shows you your XP. Nice.
Yep. Gives everybody that survived. Yeah, literally by enemy type. It'll break it down, which is funny when you realize you've been fighting like almost a mini boss, and you're like, oh, that one guy was worth way more experience.
Yeah.
He was tougher. And you can loot the dead afterwards. And
Very
they're bloody
nice.
pools. So yeah, that is kind of a small slice of Wasteland 2. Pick up all their makeshift cleavers. Literally made out of a road sign.
Yep. That's about right.
Here's a cool thing too. When you loot somebody, you automatically can loot everybody around him.
Oh, okay.
It's just like separated by tabs instead of having to like individually click on things. So they do a
Right.
lot of like little nice convenient stuff that modern games do, a lot of UI stuff
Yeah.
and menus and whatnot. But man, a lot of the gameplay feels deliciously old school.
Yeah. Which is,
In
that's
like
awesome.
all the best, yeah, like none of the tediousness and like all the best parts, which is just the tactics, the writing, the different choice dialogues you can do, which a lot of that's kind of hard to show in a brief video. But man, I am really, really digging it. I can't wait to really dive into this full bore.
It sure looks like fun. It looks like a callback of the tallest order.
Yeah, easily could be one of my potential favorite games of the year for sure. All right, Chris. Well, thank you for joining me for this episode of Chamber of Game, hosted on the Leviathan Network. Check us out at leviathan.com. Chris, where can we follow you on Twitter?
You can follow me on Twitter at Serial Viewer. Like serial killer. It's a pun.
Like serial killer.
It's a pun that I have to explain every time.
Yep, now you know that makes it a good name, isn't it? I am Eric Watson. You can follow me on Twitter at Rogue Watson. Thank you guys for tuning in to Chamber of Game. We'll see you next time.